We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are conducting life-changing research that solves the problems of today. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
Welcome to the POMcast with Stephen Willis. Now we're going to do things a little different. We are going to provide an honest look at Ole Miss athletics for the fan, by the fan, and of the fan. That is what we do. Hell be to me. I'm just kidding. Tune in for some Ole Miss sports news. We're going to give it to you straight. Yeah, right now. The POMcast starts now. It happens now. Holy cow. Listen to me. It's starting. Well, it's going to start right about now. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the POMcast on this Tuesday morning, on this wet Tuesday morning in Central Florida at the palatial Central Florida Studios. Thank you so much for joining us today. We've got a lot of stuff to get into today. We're going to give you a little bit of an idea of what we're planning on doing for football season. It's going to be quite impressive. We're going to talk a little bit about football. I think Dink Jackson is not on the roster due to personal reason. We'll explain how that could shuffle around and where he potentially would have ended up and all that stuff right here. So that's what we're going to go over today. Pretty good show. Pretty busy show. Always stuff going on, even in the doldrums of summer. Thank you very much for joining us. I am Stephen Willis. If you'd like to donate to the Vault Society, I'll let you know because the deadline is tomorrow. So really today is pretty much the last day to decide to do it. It's a 5-year commitment of support with a $5,000 minimum per year donation. It's a big push right now, the Ole Miss Athletics Foundation, and triple points. Basically, there's a level of triple points that go towards seating and priority seating and all that stuff, and there's a selected group of like parking at non-home ticketed games, like neutral site games, like the Louisville game coming up in on Labor Day. If you have any questions about it, you can go to give2athletics.com. That is give2athletics.com. It is the Vault Society. It is the big push right now of the Ole Miss Athletics Foundation. If you'd like to watch the podcast, and judging by the numbers, a ton of you guys are, you can catch us on Twitter at the Stephen Willis. You can catch us on Twitter at the Rebel Walk. Facebook is facebook.com/POMcast. or facebook.com/The Rebel Walk. You can catch us at both those locations. We're on YouTube at Positively Ole Miss. Subscribe, hit the bell. You'll not only know that we're streaming, you'll know what we're streaming about. Also on Facebook, follow us. The same rules apply. You'll know not only that we're streaming, you'll know what we're streaming about. Both of those will help you out. That's the benefit of following versus liking on Facebook. And we're also on Twitch at Positively Ole Miss, all one word. For audio only, we don't really push the pod, but we like to have one because we want to give you guys options. You can listen on Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, and Pandora. Basically, any other minor podcatchers, we're also on them. But if we list them all, it's only a 30-minute show. So, welcome to the show. I've started doing numbers for June just out of curiosity. We still have a couple of shows left to go over that. But we have a chance. I don't know if we'll do it, but we have a chance to go over 50,000 views for the month of June, which that's an obscene number. And second place is in the mid-teens. That shows you the separation. Second place is in the mid-teens. We're up near 50,000 views. So thank you very much for that. The next two shows could get us there, but if we don't, we're going to finish somewhere in the ballpark of 50,000 views for the month of June. and that includes this show. There will be another POMcast, and I think that'll be about it. But that's all on you guys. I mean, we wanted to cover Ole Miss sports in a very unique way. We wanted to get away from hypotheticals. We wanted to get away from the soap opera drama of coverage where they, where they cover by fear, where they cover by causing anxiety, and fear that you're going to miss out on some little breaking piece of news has been their business model for 2 decades. I mean, that's the way that goes. So we wanted to do it a little differently. We wanted to cover Ole Miss sports. We wanted to do all the stuff that we needed to do, but also get rid of all the superfluous stuff and all the breaking news stuff. There's nothing in this world that is a more waste of energy than spending 20 hours trying to find out a scoop for something, and then 30 seconds later it's on Twitter. I mean, you literally get 30 seconds of time on that. It's just a huge waste of effort, and people give it more importance than it is because it's only right at this point about 20% of the time. So that with the low success rate along with the low number of time of relevance, it's just not worth it. So we don't even play that game. It's, let them have it. If they want to do it, they want to do it. And, people have time to waste, I guess. I don't understand. But it's the remnants of a failing industry that is journalism, that once individual people got a voice, people talking and informing individual people what's going on became less relevant. If you look at Ole Miss sports, every word from every press conference is actually televised. You can see all that. There is no coming up from that press conference asking 2 questions and writing 3 stories during the week. And that is how you get to know a player. No, you can actually get to know them legitimately. You can actually see what makes them tick. You can actually understand that why they're doing these press conferences to begin with is a part of training for their next level at the National Football League. It has nothing to do with any type of coverage because they can all cover themselves. Heck, we have our own network at this point. I mean, anything that goes on is going to go to the SEC network first. Absolutely, period. So journalists and beat writers have become essentially telegraph operators, long-distance operators. Any type of industry that technology has made insignificant. Any type of industry that the way they used to do stuff, think back of the glory days of the Clarion Ledger in the 1980s. Well, that's not the media background now. As we've seen all kinds of problems with the media. And people like to play the media's bad card because honestly a lot of people like it, but they also like to pigeonhole it because journalists don't want to, local journalists are okay, but the national guys are out to get it. No, all media is bad. It's a dumb profession at this point because we can all be as informed as we want to be, period. There's no reason for them to even come out. If you look at me, I have about a $15,000 to $20,000 setup, and I'm able to do the news every day. I've done a show every day for you, for the most part, since February. I am as much a part as covering this team as anybody. Now, I have a media background and all that, and I've covered things to know the equipment that I needed to get. But people need to be careful about other people, trying to direct a narrative. And if you listen, you can see it. You can see it happening. Because people legitimately trying to make money off of Ole Miss sports, being a parasite off of Ole Miss sports, I mean, that's not a new thing. But the fact that they figured out that they can if this is the most effective way to make money, this is what we have to do. And that's that anxiety-driven coverage of stuff's going on. The fake breaking news of coverage and anything because of FOMO. People are afraid to miss out. But we don't want to do that. Like I said, you see it every day. We want to do things a little bit different. And we want to allow you to have fun following Ole Miss sports. We're going to cover the stuff that needs to be covered. We're not going to cover the stuff that's pretty insignificant. Anytime you hear a story that's going on, and it's like, oh, they're covering this like it's a major thing, and then you never hear from it again, and there are no consequences whatsoever moving forward. That's that anxiety-driven coverage. I worked at Rivals for 10 years. I know all about it. I've had all these same conversations and done all of the job that they're doing. The only difference is they're just trying to relieve you your money. Understand the motivation for coverage. Absolutely. There is no altruistic coverage. There is no neutral coverage of sports. It's just spin at this point. You might not be a fan of the school, so that they expect you to think it's a better breed of coverage, but you are a slave to the dollar. And the story is based off of what is going to make you money. Not off what needs to be covered, not anything to deal with the truth, not anything to do with facts. What will make you money? How is that better than being a fan? How is, whenever your livelihood is attached to that money coming in, it makes you more easily able or willing to do things for that money. Like types of stories, types of coverage. Just be careful. That's all I'm saying. But before we go on, I do want to tell you about football season because we're coming up on July and we're going to do it. I swear we are going to do the Rebel Walk recruiting show with Leanne Herring. It's already built. We just have to work out some technological issues, and she'll be able to come on to the show and do all the stuff that she wants to do. We have a Monday morning quarterback with a former SEC quarterback. Well, a former Southwest Conference quarterback. But for the now, he's an SEC type quarterback. But he played in the Southwest Conference back in the day. I think he played for, was it Emory Ballard at A&M? I don't know. We'll have to ask him about that when he comes on. And he's going to break down quarterback play in the SEC and specifically at Matt Corral. We are going to do a preview and a reaction show of every week's game. So that's 3. Plus the recruiting video, that's 4. And we're also probably going to find somebody else that wants to lend a voice and just to give you guys different perspectives of following Ole Miss sports throughout the season. So we expect a pretty packed football season. We expect a ton of views. We haven't had a view under 1,000 views since the Super Regional. Think about that. We've gone upwards of 2,000 and 3,000 views 4 times since then. Absolutely amazing. Thank you very much. It's just amazing how many people want this completely unbiased coverage. It's amazing. We do a story and everything, anything that goes on, and we stick to Ole Miss sports. It's absolutely amazing. We keep our videos under a half hour, so time commitment isn't an issue. It's great. It's great that it's really working, and I'm just really excited about it working. So thank you very much for that. We are going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about Ole Miss sports, and then I'll probably give you a couple minutes back, honestly, today. So this Tuesday morning, a wet Tuesday morning from the Palatial Central Florida studios, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the POMcast. I am your host, Stephen Willis. Thank you very much for joining us. We will move on in just a second to Ole Miss sports, but I do want to tell you about the Rebel Walk. Evelyn and her team do a fantastic job. They provide a subscriber-level experience for no money. All it costs you is your time, and boy, oh boy, is it worth it. They have experts for all different sports. They cover it very specifically and very much with a fine-tooth comb. It's what local coverage should be in this modern media environment. So go to therebelwalk.com and find out exactly what they have going on. That is therebelwalk.com. All right. You've seen the reports about Dink Jackson. What does that necessarily mean? Now, I'm not going to go into any particulars of anything behind the scenes because, it's just not worth it. But we can talk about maybe what they were planning for him in the fall, because it looked like he was going to have a role come this fall. And I think he was going to grow into a linebacker or a strong safety. It's somewhere in between. Maybe Otis Reese, maybe Jacob Springer, that type of player. I think he was going to put on a little weight and end up moving down forward. I think that was his future. But now that he's gone, what does that mean? Well, with Chance Campbell at linebacker, Lakeith Henry at linebacker, Momo Sanogo at linebacker, we should be in pretty good spots. You have Austin Keys and all that in year 2. Maybe this fall is a big moment for him. In the backfield, you have Otis Reese and Jacob Springer playing the strong safety and the star positions, and Tysheem Johnson kind of alternating between those two. I think there's a chance that Tysheem Johnson can force literally Otis Reese back to a free safety position. Now, that would be fantastic for us against the run, because that's going to provide three bodies, and that allows you to rotate them and do whatever they're doing, and they can all play each other's position, so you can't really go off alignment of what the coverage is and how it's going to be. So that's one thing. But, with Keydron Smith and all that, you can do that as well. I'm not anything against him. I just really like Tysheem Johnson. He's a football magnet. The ball finds him. He almost had 2 picks in the spring game and did have one that he wrestled away from somebody. He has, I've said it over and over and over again, he has honey badger traits and ability. He just has to unlock them. It's all going to come down to his development. He's a super athlete. He's hyper aggressive. He's built kind of like him, and I think he can make a pretty big move at the college game. But as it sits, there's Jacob Springer, who only has 1 year playing the star position, but he's an all-conference player from the American Conference. Otis Reese, a former top 50 recruit. Who are you going to sit? You're probably not. Now, in today's defense, you've heard them say over and over, it requires you to go 22 deep instead of 11 deep. You used to get by on slow tempo football playing, 11, 15 players. Now you need a full 22. You need a full 2 deep. So Tysheem Johnson provides a band-aid of cover possibly for all 3 of these center secondary positions. Take away the cornerbacks, and that's somebody he can play the backup role and provide a breather whenever each of them need it. And I think that might be his role this year. That might be what he does, is just provide a breather, flash a little bit in different positions all over the field, and just make it to where it becomes an issue to read for the quarterback. The quarterback wants to hit that Lucy route like LSU did over and over and over again last year. Maybe Tysheem Johnson is able to line up at free safety. He moves Otis Reese back, and he comes up and plays a robber and picks off that pass. And all of a sudden, it's a completely different game. That's what somebody like him means to this defense. You couldn't necessarily do it. And, I love Momo Sanogo. I love Lakeith Henry. They were recruited for a 3-4 defense. They absolutely were recruited for a 3-4 defense. So they're going to be A-gap to C-gap type players. Not necessarily, I'm not going to say they're statuesque or anything like that, but it's just a different skill set. Like, you could take Cristiano Ronaldo, great soccer player, and he would struggle on the basketball court. He'd still do some athletic things, he'd still do all this, but he wouldn't be at the highest level on the basketball court because it's not his skill set. That's what I'm saying. The 3-4 linebackers, Lakeith Henry and Momo Sanogo, thank goodness we have them. We need them. We absolutely need them. Chance Campbell coming along the other side, all of a sudden, you need them. You need to scrape that off tackle play. You need to be able to get there. And hopefully, as the season comes, we will actually start to get there fairly regularly. And hopefully this defense can make a jump. Like I said, our goal this year should be that defense to be somewhere in the 80 range. If it's somewhere in the 80 range, this is a 9-win football team. Just with a defense in the 80 range. That's a loss to Alabama, Texas A&M, and one team that we're not expecting. If this defense gets in the 50s, they're a threat to beat everybody on their schedule, including Alabama, with a defense at 50. Remember, the way this defense functions, they're going to give up yards. They're going to give up explosive plays, but they're also going to make them. The whole goal of this defense is to steal possessions. It's not to stop the other team. It's to steal possessions. It's about turnovers. It's about lost yardage plays. There's going to be a ton of blitzing. There's going to be a ton of disguise, and it's all going to be about setting this offense up with another extra possession because it's going to be very, very dangerous. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes back today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for watching during the month of June. It was fantastic. Numbers up close to nearly 50,000 views for a month. That's ludicrous number, and at that point will be like two times the next person. You doubled them up twice by hitting 50,000 views. It's absolutely amazing. It's all on you. So thank you very much for that. I am Stephen Willis, and we'll be back tomorrow for some more podcasts. It's probably going to be fairly shorter due to the fact that this is list season and everybody's taking time off, but we do want to give you some stuff to chew on every day. So thank you very much, and we'll see you tomorrow. Hotty toddy.